This is who I am. This is who I am. That feels really important to me. What's good, y'all? My name is Jessamyn Stanley, co-founder of The Underbelly, and I am here for my women's health body scan. What I love most about my body is its resilience. My body has been through a lot. Ups and downs, good, bad, and very ugly. And through all of that, it survives. It keeps turning over. It doesn't matter how much smack I talk about my body, it is still there. It still shows up for me. I've been in accidents. My body has been injured. It has gone through things. Getting on the other side of it, those are my superpowers. It blows my mind how resilient my body really is. The body part that I have come to really respect, I've come to respect my belly. I was very, very self-conscious of my belly all throughout my childhood. I felt ashamed of the fact that it always poked out, and buying jeans was really difficult. When I exercise, my leggings roll down and then my belly's out. And even when I first started practicing yoga, I exclusively wore very high-waisted leggings so that my belly would be smoothed down. But over time, I've come to understand that my belly is an incredible asset. Sometimes it is the body weight that I need to go deeper into postures. And so over time, this thing that I still don't really feel is like respected by society or liked, it has become this thing that I am so proud of and so grateful for, and really that I respect at the end of the day. I started practicing yoga when I was in graduate school in my early 20s, and I was going through a period of depression. A friend of mine was like, "Oh my God, come to yoga. You're gonna love it. It's gonna change your life." And I was like, that is just for thin white women. That doesn't have anything to do with me. I'm not going to yoga, because I had actually already tried it once when I was in high school, and I hated it. It was the worst. Even now, having done so much more yoga, I still look back on that experience and I'm like, I stand by that. It was the worst. Ultimately, what hooked me about the practice was not that it was particularly easy. It was so hard. It was not that I was particularly flexible. Even to sit with my legs crossed felt impossible to me. I always felt very alienated. I was one of the only fat people, one of the only Black people. I did not see myself represented in the space. But the thing that really hooked me was that I saw how often I tell myself no, and how often I say, I can't do that, and I don't even try. And the question that got me and that still sticks with me is like, you could just try. What if you just try? And I realized how many parts of my life I would not even try. So many things in my career and in my relationships and in my family life where I would just say, here's the boundary, here's the wall, and I'm not gonna go beyond that. Looking at the present, where now like I'm a yoga teacher and I teach all over the world, and you can practice yoga with me on The Underbelly any time of day, night. And I've written books about yoga. Even within all of that, I still feel like I keep coming back to yoga because it makes space for me to be myself. Forearm plank pose. This pose was like impossible to me. I hated it. I would be cussing while I'm practicing it, but I love it at the end of the day. There comes a point in the process where you just give it up to the journey, and it's not about any particular destination. And even once you start practicing the posture in its full glory, there's still little things to fine tune. And I assume, I hope, honestly, that it's like that forever. The part of my body that I think holds the most strength is my hips. Our hips are what hold our fight or flight instinct. Every moment where you're like, I can't do this, or should I do it? I'm not sure. It all gets trapped in the hips. And so when I go into a deep split or a one-leg pigeon pose or whatever the posture is, immediately there are all of these really intense emotions that come up. And being able to sit with those emotions and allow myself to be vulnerable, that's what I really think strength is. I think strength is actually vulnerability. A few years ago, I was in a scooter accident. It was raining, it was late at night, and my scooter wheel clipped a pothole and it threw me off the bike, but it threw the bike on top of me, and I like skidded across the pavement. The whole side of my body was ripped up, and there's still scarring on my face. I have a lot of stretch marks, and so I just feel like it adds to the texture of my body. And I think that all scarring, all wounds, everything, it is just power, pure power. Because if you survive, it means that you were dealt exactly what you can handle, and that I need to appreciate it, period. What I love to drink at the start of the day is this macronutrient powder. It's actually a very specific powder that is made by Sunrider. It's called New Plus. That mixed with oat milk is my favorite way to start the day. I just feel like it really fills in all the nutrients in my body. And then my favorite breakfast is a slice of Ezekiel toast with a soft boiled boiled egg and hot sauce on top. It's my favorite way to get things going. I really believe in love languages. Knowing what your love languages are and then knowing what the love languages are of the people that you love is really helpful. I'm polyamorous, I have multiple partners, and being able to really connect with each other is important. And if I'm just using my love language, then we're never gonna be able to get there. My love language to give is quality time. I feel like my time is my most valuable asset. Like my time is my life. And when I really care about someone, that is how I can show it. It's just by showing up. But I also really appreciate receiving words of affirmation. Because sometimes I forget that I am loved and I forget that I'm seen. And so having the people that I love tell me that they love me and tell me why they love me, that means a lot to me. All of my inner arm tattoos were inspired by the movie Memento. So I don't know if you've ever seen this movie, it's a favorite of mine. The first tattoo that I got during my yoga teacher training was Esse quam videre. And Esse quam videre means to be rather than to seem. And it's the state motto of North Carolina. I'm from North Carolina. And so not only is it like a remembrance of where I'm from, who I am, but it's also a really good reminder to always be real, keep it real, and don't be fake. Right above that, it says, whose world is this? The world is yours. It's from a Nas song, The World Is Yours. The idea is that this world is mine for the taking. I can do whatever I want as long as I believe in myself. On top, it says, throw away yesterday, today is a brand new day. And that's from a Sia song called The Church of What's Happening Now. And I always have to remember that because I will get in my head and I get obsessive and I'm like, am I doing this right? I'm like pulling back memories that nobody needs. And so being able to say, just throw it away. You don't need to hold on to it. It's really important to me. And then just below that, it says, what I'm looking for is not out there, it is in me. And it's a Helen Keller quote. Helen Keller and I have the same birthday and I've always felt very attached to her. And the idea is like, I don't need to look out into the world for the answers. Every answer that I need is inside of me. Full disclosure, this is not a real piercing. This is a non-permanent piercing. And I had always wanted a septum ring and I was like, I'm just gonna get a fake ring and put it in and then see how I like it. That was like minimum of 4 years ago and I've been wearing this fake septum ring ever since. I have so many thoughts about skincare, I don't even know how I'm gonna summarize it. It is the most important self-care time in my day. Being able to touch myself and like really just get intimate with this gift that I've been offered feels really important to me. And the thing that I'm obsessed with right now is putting a face mask on before I get in the shower. Because sometimes you'll be like, I don't have time to do a mask. I don't have time for like a spa day. Right before I get in the shower, especially if I only have like 5 or 10 minutes and I need to rush, you put on a face mask, it's like I'm at the spa all of a sudden and it just makes me feel so good. That and then one other thing that I've started doing recently is dry brushing. It moves the lymph around. It just like makes me feel stronger and more present in my body. Thank you so much for asking about this. I have had a very extensive hair journey. When I was a kid, my mother gave both of us locks, which was a huge deal for her. She still has her hair locked. It's been like 30 years almost, but it made me feel very self-conscious about my hair. Now everybody has natural hair. It's very, very common. But at the time in like the mid 90s, it was not common at all. And I felt very shamed for it. This is a longer story, but my mother was really sick when I was a kid. And while she was in the hospital, one of her friends asked me if I would want to have braids instead of having locked hair. And I was like, yeah, I would love to not have locked hair anymore. She cut my hair off and gave me a perm and gave me braids. I wore my hair braided for the 12 to 13 years after that. Around the time that I started practicing yoga, but not exactly the same time, it was all in my early 20s. I decided to commit to accepting my hair exactly as it is, to the point where I wouldn't get extensions. I would only wear my hair natural. And it's only been in the last couple of years that I've experimented with like sometimes wearing a wig or sometimes having extensions. But for the most part, I just wear my hair natural because it's really important to me to be able to own this part of myself that for a really long time, I thought I was not allowed to own at all. There are some products that I really, really love. I really enjoy Lush's products for 4C hair. The Glory conditioner, they have like this green co-wash bar that's really cool. Just being able to get through each curl. Honestly, the most important thing for me is just genuinely putting my fingers in my curls and just running my fingers through them over and over again. Just being able to really be like, this is who I am. This is who I am. That feels really important to me, and that's the biggest part of my day-to-day process. Taking care of my mental health is a multi-step process. I would say that yoga and movement practices are a huge part of how I take care of my mental health. That is true. But I also have other spiritual ritual practices that are really important as well. Tarot is really big for me. Some people pronounce it tarot. Being able to pull cards and just see where I am in my journey is really crucial. But also what has become crucial is just getting outside and remembering that I'm not a robot. I'm not a computer. I might work at computers. I might sit at a desk, but I am a wild being. And so getting out in the sunlight, feeling the grass under my toes, just being able to feel fresh air come around my skin is very important to me. And now, living in California, being able to get to the ocean and look at the ocean and really feel how humbling it is, how small we all are as individuals and how small I am, that has become really crucial to my mental health as well. Thank you so much for joining me for my body scan. Subscribe to Women's Health, give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you here next time.